it's Arky3. Today I'm going to try something different, shoot some videos. We go out to this ridge near Pena, Blanca. Pena Blanca is this isolated hill out here by itself. This whole thing has been carved by man. I wanted to show you again how incredibly carved this ridge line is. It's pretty amazing. I've never been out here at this time of year or day recently to see these carvings. So the different shadowing is really bringing out some different things. It's pretty amazing. I don't know how much of this is natural and how much has been moved around and created. I took 280 photos this day. I'm going to be showing you some of those, adjust the color on some and draw in with the images I see. In this case, it looks like this dark area are two faces facing each other, but down here there's two skulls in the lighter area. And the one on the right, this woman, looks like she's holding a baby. Those boulders look like she's cradling a baby. So we headed off over to this really large megalith. Each one of these large rocks is being carved and painted. It's a lot like Easter Island. And when you get up close, you see the drill holes and the peck marks. So let's take a closer look at this large rock. It's all this different coloration. It's all been painted. You'll see images of cattle, horses, people riding horses, and believe it or not, images of Dracula, because Dracula is a zookeeper to these pagan people. You can even flip the landscape over and it'll create art. See images of animals everywhere. And then this is where I started noticing that there's a platform and two big megaliths sitting on top of this platform, and how the hill has been cut out. I started realizing that the whole side has been engineered, and that it's almost like they stepped it down into the shape of a pyramid and then built it back out with tombs that are in there. They left chambers as they built it out. And then this guy, how did I miss this guy? It's painted and he actually looks Asian. So does the guy back here on this big megalith. So this is that next megalith, and when you adjust the colors, you see images of Dracula. You might think that's kind of strange that I would say that, but actually among these pagan peoples, Dracula and variations of Dracula, including elves, were zookeepers. They're the icon of the zookeeper guild. So we headed on over to Pena Blanca. Which looks like that from the other side. So I came over here to Pena Blanca to get some better pictures of this rabbit rock, but also the ridge behind. Since it's a different time of year and a different time of day, the colors show up differently, and it creates a whole different image than the video I did before. It's amazing how they could accomplish this, but they used the sun and the seasons and the shading and the shadowing on the rocks to do all these different incredible things artistically. So this is what the ridgeline looks like from Pena Blanca, from the other side. So I got these better pictures and adjusted them, started outlining some of the figures I see here. And I don't know what it is. I guess because it's kind of rough and not real smooth and perfect that people can't see all these images. This is like a giant ancient monument that people built. It's very impressionistic, but the roughness allowed them to use light in different ways than you would be able to if you had a perfectly smooth statue. So we headed on over to this other shelter. It's actually a tomb that they were working on. The whole thing is painted inside. It's pretty amazing images here. A man on horseback. The horse has a point on his head. All kinds of different images in here. It's all carved, and then there's red paint. Now archaeologists see these pictographs, but they don't see the rest of it. But this is actually blood coming out of people's eyes and head and neck. And then all these line marks on here that lays it all out. So after this, we went back around the south side of the ridge and started climbing up. I call this the cat rock because of what it looks like from the other side. There's large drill holes that go all through that from when it was up on the hill. People drilled big holes down through. This is all just one mortuary feature here. One of these that they were still working on, and after they put tombs in the side of this rock, they were probably going to put other big megaliths in front of it and keep building off so that the whole ridge line is actually man-made. And here's where they were carving out under the rock. There's a bunch of drill holes still in the rock there. This isn't mining. There's no minerals in this volcanic tuff. So here we are starting to climb up this ridge. Pretty amazing. All the rocks here are posed. They all look like different figures and characters. So this is the feature. It looks like a big elongated alien head from below. From this angle you can see there's some sort of animal like a lion, maybe with a person's head. You also see that all the way down the slope there's images made out of all the rocks and the vegetation. Everywhere you look, every angle, you'll see people and animals. So what's going on here? Starting to get up high on the ridge now. Incredible carvings. Rocks that are all painted. Some scenes maybe of bondage and beheadings. Another incredible head or a large megalith. This is thorn shelter beneath here. I believe this was all built up by man, that this rock wasn't here. It may actually be several rocks put together like this, and all that was added to. You can see a person looking up into the sky.
So we climbed up to the shelters up on the side of this ridge. This shelter is called Tornillo. It was excavated about 1984 or so. Down lower and across the way is a shelter called Thorn that was also excavated. Not much was found in these shelters. Really not the residue of living. A few corn cobs on sticks, a few arrow shafts.
So when you look inside this shelter, you realize this isn't a natural feature because water doesn't run down the walls inside here. It stays perfectly dry in this shelter. And the walls are all decorated just like everywhere else. And that's because these were probably going to be tombs too. They dug these shelters out, put people in them, put big rocks in front of them. So we started to have a tough time. Couldn't make it all the way to roller skate, so we decided to head back down. The lighting had changed, so the images changed. And I started seeing this guy with wings and animals on his shoulders. Not only that, but the whole slope is all images. Every bush, every rock is placed there. And back at the road, I took some pictures with some different lighting. So when you look at the whole thing as a whole, it's a face looking up. Or it's someone in one of these wing devices, which is common in prehistoric art, from the old world to Mesoamerica to vegetation glyphs I found in Brazil. They all show people with this large wing device strapped to their body. You can see the straps. And then they have these control devices that they're holding on to. So they would have had some sort of parachute, paraglider behind them. By pulling on the controls, they moved this wing around, deformed it. It would deform the parachute above you so you could fly. So until next time, remember to